Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, and today's video is about the epic, timeless battle of clean bulking versus dirty bulking. Oh my God, it's bros versus also bros. Pros versus the incels that say pros are on a ton of drugs and clean bulking doesn't work. Comments, Reddit. What a great time. You will see that the title of the slide is Christina Aguilera. Why? Dirty, it's about magma. Dirty, schmiggity, magma. Dirty. First of all, that song is fucking sweet. Second of all, that dates me like shit because it came out 40 fucking years ago. Third of all, God damn, Christina Aguilera can first of all sing. Point 3 sub A. And 3 sub B is fine as hell, girl. What's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm not famous like you. I'm also married. But that doesn't mean we can't fantasize. And the fantasy song is one of your shits, girl, because you can fucking sing. In any case, what? Clean versus dirty bulking. Here we go. Couple of definitions first so we really have an understanding of the matter. A lot of people who debate this on the internet, as with many things, never really get their definitions sorted and they just talk at cross currents. So, first definition is junk food. In my view, junk food is food that is often, though not always, but very often, high in a few ingredients. Salt, sugar, saturated fat, okay? And it's often, though not always, highly processed, and is always, everywhere, highly palatable, which means it's delicious and you just can't stop eating it and you want to eat more. No one's ever described something as junk food that tastes like shit. Unless you're like, go to Japan at some expensive restaurant. You're like, okay, it's totally Japanese junk. Like it's a weird take of Japanese people on junk. It's awful, but like it's good because it's like bad. Shut up, hipsters, you ruined food. In any case, that's junk food. That's junk food. Healthy food is food generally composed of lean meats, veggies, fruits, grains, most often whole grains, but not always, and healthy fats, fats that are high in poly and monounsaturated sources like olive oil, canola oil. Yes, canola oil, get in the fucking comments. Oh, and before you do, just PubMed the shit so you can confuse yourself further. And nuts, nut butter, stuff like that. The good stuff. And there's not really much controversy between what is generally a healthy food and generally a junk food. There is some context, there is some nuance, but not a ton. You don't take a tub of fucking Oreo ice cream out of the fridge and like, is this junk food? Isn't all food good food? You can take that shit to the comments if you like, but try to make some sense of the world. All categories, or almost all, are fuzzy sets and are slightly overlapping. So it's okay that some foods are difficult to identify as junk or as whole food, but healthy food. But gee whiz, it's a pretty delineated two-set system. Now, a clean bulk. To get really to the definitions we want to understand, a clean bulk can be defined for our purposes as a mass-gaining, muscle-gaining phase of intentional weight gain over some months of time in which you essentially eat zero junk food. It's all healthy food, okay? A dirty bulk is defined as a same intentional gaining over several months of time, a hypercaloric diet, that meets the protein recommendations, so a gram per pound on average per person, and then the carbs and fat sources to meet your calorie goal come from ? Because dirty bulk doesn't mean you can't have whole grain pasta with peanut sauce and lean chicken. Like that actually is healthy. That doesn't mean you can't have it. But if you take that meal and you plop a piece of fucking cheesecake in there and eat it like the fucking pathetic, disgusting animal that you are, your boy, then that's a dirty bulk, right? You can even take the cheesecake out and paint yourself some lipstick with cheesecake, and the waitress walks by and you're like, hey, look at me. And she's like, you're never coming back here. The police beat you in the restaurant and you had it coming. That's a dirty bulk. So clean bulk versus dirty bulk, now we have an understanding. Basically clean bulk, no junk food, dirty bulk, junk food optional, but it's called a dirty bulk for a reason, right? You don't go to Las Vegas and be like, we're gonna have a crazy night and just go to the casino and just like do slots for an hour and be like, this sucks, I'm losing money, and go to your hotel and watch the hotel TV channels. I mean, That's how my wife and I do Vegas. But if you're saying we're having a crazy party in Vegas, you at least try to do some crazy shit. You might not die. You might not kill a stripper and have to bury her exactly 8.2 miles northwest of the strip. But, you know what I'm saying, you might go to a strip club, throw up on a stripper, get beat up by the bouncers, the typical Vegas kind of stuff. Something fun has to happen. So when people take dirty bulk, that means you're going to at least have a cookie or two. And most of the time, dirty bulk means like you do a lot of that shit. And often it means more than one meal per day is junk food, or at least has lots of junk food in it. All right, to the actual comparison. What advantages, hypothetically, theoretically, and practically, does a clean bulk have over a dirty bulk? First, clean bulking is healthier. Yes, the composition of the food that you eat does determine some fraction of your probabilistic health going forward. It's not a huge effect, but it is a notable effect. It has been measured in studies. It's something like, 20% of your total health, which means 80% has diddly dick to do with the kind of food that you're eating and really more just amounts and timing and all that other stuff. But food quality does matter. So if you're gaining, especially gaining because you're inundating your body with excess nutrients, which it doesn't like to begin with from a health perspective, if you're gaining on clean foods, quote unquote, clean bulk, healthier foods, then it is actually notably healthier for you than dirty bulking. Right? Absolutely. It'll reflect in your blood work by a small margin and in your atherosclerotic potential and all those other things. Next, if you have trouble not ballooning up to being a gigantic fat fuck on your bulking phases, which I've done on purpose numerous times in my life and I still regret it, then if you do a clean bulk, the fact that clean foods, healthy foods, are just not as palatable, they're not as easy to eat and get a ton of calories from as junk foods, the fact that that is a thing means that your probability of going off the rails and gaining like 5 extra pounds of fat over the course of the thing because you just can't stop eating, and you end up, you're shooting for 3,500 calories as your surplus, but you end up hitting a bunch of days with 38, 4,100. Who the fuck can stop eating pizza? That's not a thing you even want to try. So if you're in that situation and you end up overdoing daily calories with super tasty foods, the probability that you can overdo calories with clean food is, Jesus Christ, that's much, much lower. A lot of times, bodybuilders who think that clean bulking is the only way to go will have a huge problem even trying to gain weight because it's so hard to eat a ton of healthy food. If you have trouble with gaining way too quickly and getting too fat, clean bulk is a huge, huge weapon in your arsenal, because if you switch to clean bulking, or as we'll talk about later, cleaner bulking, yeah, like it's very unlikely you're going to be able to overeat like crazy. Still possible, but much less likely. Number 3, advantage of clean bulks versus dirty bulks. This is something I've experienced personally. When you're eating healthier food, your gym performance is better. Junk food is fun to eat and it keeps your gym performance still very high, but I've noticed a significant, notable, that's why I noticed it, amount of performance difference. Your cardio is better. Your recovery is better, just by a small margin if you eat mostly healthy food. Now, health nuts will be like, as soon as I started eating healthy, it changed my life. Like the next meal, I felt like so better and just lighter and freer, and my karmic energy was aligned. Like, shut up, Betty. Get the fuck up out of here. You made all that shit up in your head. But over days and over weeks, more healthy food versus more junk food, you can feel it, and your performance is optimized by a small but notable margin with healthy food. So if you're really serious about massing, if you're really serious about muscle gain, if you're serious about a bodybuilding career, which almost all pro bodybuilders are, which is why almost all of them try to clean bulk as much as possible, it absolutely is an effect that you have to watch out for. You ate 12 boxes of fucking ho-hos yesterday. You show up to squat high reps today, you may be like, bro, I have a headache and I want to throw up. I have no idea why. Well, let's examine the evidence. You're a fucking idiot and you shouldn't have eaten 12 fucking packs of ho-hos. That's right, packs of ho-hos, not individual ho-hos. Next, and I think last for the purposes of stuff I could think of offhand when writing this presentation, advantage of clean bulking is that it builds better habits for your fat loss phase later. When you do clean bulking, you're eating healthy food all the time. When you switch to fat loss phase, you just take a bit of carb and fat out of each meal. Same diet, fat loss phase. If you're doing a dirty bulk, and you're like, yeah, man, mostly my meals are whey protein and Oreos, and you have to start doing a fat loss diet where you typically try to eat healthier food because trying to lose fat on a bunch of Oreos is tough, because reducing your calories and ultra tasty foods is a great way to be miserable and starve. You might just like be like, oh fuck, I have to eat like chicken and rice, fuck. And then like how to cook it, how to meal prep it, just the habit of it, the revulsion you'll have to it for a while. Fuck, man, it's really tough. And all of a sudden you're like more likely to fall off the wagon or just have a harder time with fat loss phases. But with bodybuilders that are at a high level that mostly do clean bulking and of course clean cutting, for them to transition from bulking or cutting, they'll literally post in their Instagrams like, coach pulled back the food today, which starts our prep. And you're like, pulled back the food? The fuck, is that like a curtain you look through? What the fuck does that even mean? They're eating the same healthy foods all the time. Coach just reduces the food, keeps the protein high, reduces carbs and fats by a bit, and then voila, bulk turns to cut. It's a seamless transition if you don't want that whole transitional bumpy road situation. All right, those are the advantages for clean bulking versus dirty bulking, and that's the end of the video. That's it, you go clean bulk. I'm kidding, of course. Dirty bulk has advantages over clean bulking. Some of these will be kind of obvious, the rest will be kind of also obvious. First, it's just more fun, at least at first. How is it more fun? If you have a protein shake and a container of Oreos that you have to eat, and then you do that, and then later you hang out with a friend and their dad comes downstairs and he's like, oh, you're the bodybuilder guy. And you're like, yes, sir. And he's like, man, I just really respect your dedication. You're like, it's tough to do what I do. Lots of willpower. He's like, you eating like chicken breast and rice, huh? Every day, every meal? And you're like, yep. Sure am. Ugh. And then your friends are like, pizza's here. And you're like, oh, that one's mine. And the dad's like, you eat pizza? And you're like, my life is easy. It's so fun. This is bodybuilding. I just eat pizza and drink protein shakes. So it's way more fun. I said at first for a reason. Junk food gets fucking old. If you eat it even for a few days straight, I don't guarantee you, somebody in the comments is going to be like, I've been eating junk food for 47 years straight, and I feel great. And then we check up on that comment a week later, and like, this user has deceased. I wish YouTube would update about that. Wouldn't that be fucked up? It's not a sustainable practice for most people. Most people just after a while, do you guys know that feeling? I'm reaching here, but you know that feeling where you just like have eaten junk for a few days, like on a road trip or something, and you're like, I need a vegetable. I need something fucking colored green that has fiber that I can feel in my throat, scratching the throat so that when it goes down, it scratches the gunk out of my fucking intestines. You eat enough candy bars and you're like, oh, I just feel unclean, like in a moral, religious way. You know, it's just like, oh, it's awful. You feel like you get oilier, and the junk food just doesn't taste as good after a while. It's like having mindless sex with tons of super hot girls. After a while, it's all the same. I think that's like a Dan Bilzerian revelation or whatever. In any case, that last part's for sure not true. But junk food can get old. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So I don't want to put too fine a point on it's fun, way more fun. But at least at first, when do people plan dirty bulks? It's at the end of cuts. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking dirty bulk at the end of this cut. Oh my God. They make a fucking list like, we're going to go to KFC, okay? Then we're going to go to Taco Bell. Like, okay, so KFC Thursday, Taco Bell Friday? Like, no, you don't understand. We pick up the KFC, we pull around, and it's the combination KFC Taco Bell, and we order Taco Bell in addition to that. And then we go home, and we just shower in the fucking shit. Amazing. When you're on a fat loss phase towards the end, such fantasies can be quite appealing. And the first few days of that is like fucking bliss. But later you will find that the junk food is not as fun. I'll get to why that matters in a bit. Next benefit. There is a near zero chance you won't gain weight. I had an interesting comment in our YouTube channel. We're talking about like, how to eat more for massing, if people can't gain weight, and a lot of it in the context of if you still keep your food healthy, how do you do it? And there's a bunch of different really good strategies, making the food tastier and eating higher calorie density foods, timing your foods better. And one guy was like, I don't understand how you could possibly not gain weight. Just eat a bunch of junk food and you'll gain weight. And he's not wrong. Obviously, not ideal for bodybuilding because of all the health stuff and shit like that. But if you're having trouble gaining weight, the undefeated weight gain tool is the Snickers bar. And if you really have trouble gaining weight, you just go watch a few episodes of the show My 600 Pound Life. You get the fucking hack for how to get huge. Not the kind of huge you want, but if you meet your protein amounts and your calories are set and you don't go over them, you can actually gain all the weight you need and tons of muscle with it too. Again, not in the healthiest way, but even if you just pepper in a bit of junk, you can junk your way up to immense calories. How many of you, as a matter of fact, why don't we do a poll in the comments below? let's just keep the shit truthful. You feel me? We don't know if you're lying. We can be skeptical. God knows. He knows. So don't lie. What's the highest number of individual order items you've ever purchased at a Taco Bell and successfully eaten up within one meal cycle, 2 hours? All right, so you go, watch a movie with friends, you go to Taco Bell. How many items did you get that you actually ate within that next few hours? My PR is probably like 10, but I like the beef and potato burrito, the cheesy cheese gordita crunch supreme, all the shit, the fucking names are the same. The shit is all the same ingredients. I love it. Let me know. But in any case, there's everyone can eat at least 5 things at Taco Bell, and that itself has to be 1,500 calories. And you can do that a couple times a week. That's an extra so many fucking calories, cookies and chips and whole milk. I mean, fuck. If you junk it up, there's no way, because people will complain, be like, I'm ultra lean, I'm really active, and I can't gain weight. After we've sort of thrown all the darts at the board and none of them stuck, try some junk. And they're like, well, what? Motherfucker, anything that you like to eat. No problem. Almost everyone can gain. That's a big benefit for those of you struggling to gain. You want to use it judiciously, which we'll talk about in a sec, but nonetheless, it's big ups, right? What people will clean bulk, and they think that's the only way to bulk. And they'll be like, I can't get above 179, man. My body just doesn't want to do it. And it's like, a fucking Snickers bar will push your bitch ass right above 179. No fucking problem. Arguably much further above if you keep doing that. Next, the dirty bulk is a great break from the monotony of a fat loss, super healthy food diet. I mean, imagine you transition from a fat loss diet to a bulking diet, and then 3 weeks into the bulking diet, you just look at chicken and rice and you're like, I'm out. I'm out of the fucking sport. Cancel me. Fuck that. You burn your posing trunks, you're fucking done. It can be tough. But if it's a Friday night and your friends are going out for all you can eat sushi, man, it makes bodybuilding a little bit easier. No, wait, I said that wrong. A lot easier and way more fun and way less monotonous. Because when you can eat some junk and eat some BS, dude, it's a big deal, and it's not to be understated. Lastly, if you dirty bulk, quote unquote, and especially in some context, which I'll talk about in just a bit. I keep saying just a bit. This must be a great thing coming up. You can actually read it on the slide if you pause the video. That's what I'm saying next. It's easier to stick to a dirty bulk when you're at school, at work, on the road, visiting grandma's house for Thanksgiving. Grandma's like, don't you love my mashed potatoes? And you're like, yeah, grandma, but macros. So no, I won't eat them because of my biceps. Grandma's born in the fucking Great Depression. She's not gonna understand what you're saying. She's, what the fuck is wrong with you, motherfucker? I made them shits with love. You don't love me? And you're like, Grandma, did you just say motherfucker? She's like, hell yeah, pimp. Ba, 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 and you're like, where the fuck is grandma from? New Orleans. In any case, it's so easy to just eat some of the fucking protein at grandma's house that grandma still makes. She makes the fried chicken or whatever for the holidays, big old turkey leg. Shit, you can even bring a fucking protein shake with you, but then all the goodies, she makes the cakes and the fucking puddings and this and that. Every family occasion, every special dinner. If you're dirty bulking, people are like, hey man, we're gonna go out to eat at fucking Outback or whatever. Can you go? You're like, absolutely, I can go. Whereas if you were clean bulk only, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I'll just sit this one out. I'm just gonna sit at home and eat my fucking rice and chicken and cry tears of sadness because I fucking dieted myself out of having any friends. Way easier to stick to shit. That's a huge green check mark into the column of dirty bulking. So where is this all going? Who wins? Which, red team versus blue team, who wins? Who wins? What's better? And to ask the question of what's better, clean bulking versus dirty bulking, as a matter of fact, belying our thumbnail entirely, is the illustration of a logical fallacy called the false dichotomy fallacy. It is the idea that there are only two choices, and you either pick one or the other, right? When people ask me hey, do you find men or women attractive? I'm like, yes. And no, but very few people I find unattractive. I only see one of those, and it's in the mirror. Isn't that sad, Scott's video guy? What do you think I could do to find myself more attractive?
You gotta do the Buffalo Bill thing.
Tuck my genitals between my thighs?
Yeah, braid around and put put some nice music on, really feel your swag.
Really feel my swag. He sure felt his swag, didn't he? A bit too much. The problem with that is my quads in my current state are so big, I can barely do that because my testicles become crushed.
That's hot.
I just found myself attractive again. Thanks, Scott's Video Guy. That was easy.
There is no avoiding hard training if you want to grow. But if you want to grow the most, your training needs to be hard and smart. RP Hypertrophy app will make sure you're progressing on track, monitoring and adjusting your workout at all times. So for all that work you're doing, you can be sure you're getting the best results.
All right, false dichotomy. It turns out it's not one or the other. It's not clean versus dirty, but rather how clean versus how dirty. Because remember, every meal can be analyzed on clean versus dirty, even fractionally. If you have a meal which has whole grain pasta, great, super healthy peanut sauce, chicken, a bunch of veggies, and you have like an ice cream cone, and that's part of the meal. You don't put the ice cream cone in the shit, just have it with that meal afterwards. Was that a clean meal? Was that a dirty meal? Well, really, it was a bit of both. So my recommendation to you is not to be dogmatic and say clean only or dirty only. It's to do actually the following. First, after a fat loss phase has ended and your bulking phase has begun, your muscle growth phase, you probably want for the first 2 or 3 weeks to eat exclusively healthy food. Why? Because junk food at that point tastes so fucking good, you are going to go off the fucking rails and eat way too much of it. It's just painful. You need to reestablish proper hunger signaling after a fat loss diet, bring down that diet fatigue. So for 2 or 3 weeks after, I would say 100% clean eating. After that, 2 to 3 weeks in, or whenever you're feeling like, man, I'm getting really tired of fucking clean food. I'm sure as shit not hungry anymore because this is a lot of clean food. You can put in your schedule or an allotment for 1 to 3 cheat meals per week. I like 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, or 1 each day for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's right, Friday's part of my weekend, VIP lifestyle. So if you do that, it's dealer's choice. The cheat meals, we have a cheat meal guide as well, hopefully you can find on YouTube. And that means that your fundamental core is clean bulking, but on top of it, a few times a week, you've sprinkled in some dirt, so to speak, and it kind of ticks all the boxes. It's still super healthy, but you don't have trouble gaining weight. It's still very good for performance, but it's not overly monotonous. And you can titrate that amount. If you're like, well, I really shouldn't be going crazy, just 1 cheat meal of something not too crazy, a couple ice cream cones and a protein shake. And if you're really quite lean and you're gaining way too slowly and your monotony is just through the roof, then yeah, you can have 3 cheat meals a week, no problem. And if you're gaining too fast, you can ease up on the cheat meals. And if you're having some snacks, some nuts here, some chocolate covered nuts there, it's all nuts that go into this mouth. Yeah, I meant that. And if you're gaining a little too fast, ease up on the snacking. If you're gaining a little too slow, and feel free to include more snacks if you're kind of done eating as much clean food as you can. Because clean food, at a certain point, you're like, fuck that. I'm not staring at another grain of brown rice ever fucking again. If, on the extreme end, you are lean, you are doctor confirmed healthy with blood work, and you are gaining too slowly and you just can't eat enough, make sure you stick to a core, 75% of your food or so, or of your meals, not food by calories, still healthy, still clean, still no junk, and then just cheat it up a little bit more, even quite a bit, with no worries at all. Because remember, it's not clean bulk versus dirty bulk, it's how clean and how dirty. Right now, I just want to get you guys clued into what's going on in my head. I always have like a stack of analogies in my brain that I can make, and I kind of select out of it, and they randomly assort, right? The whole neural network part of your brain that throws out candidate thoughts. And all of my stack is insane references to mixing sex with physically revolting things like body excrement, and to try to make an analogy of clean and dirty. I'm just going to spare you guys that shit. But if you want extra shit, we have a member section for the YouTube, extra videos every week that are usually nerdier and more in depth. Check that out. And also, in the description, we have a link to the Team Full ROM forum. We do weekly lives to answer all of your questions. The forum Everyone answers everyone's questions all the time. We look at your technique to try to see if we can analyze to get your squats better, etc. If you post videos, we always analyze them. If that's something that interests you and you have just a little teeny bit more money, remember, 99% of your money goes to Mr. Nick Shaw, CEO of RP, but 1% of it goes to my personal Lamborghini collection. I'm at 48 Lamborghinis currently. And you know what? I thought it would be impressive in my underground garage with also a runway for my stealth jet. But 48, it's like 48 states of the United States. I'm too shy of feeling complete. So please buy something so I can get my way to 50 Lambos, and then I will first have happiness in my life. See you guys next time.